All right, let's dive right in. Over the next few minutes, we are going to unpack the incredible science of longevity. We're going to build a strategy, really, from the ground up. We'll start with the powerful things you can do today, then look at the cutting-edge drugs of tomorrow, and finally, we'll explore the wild frontier of science that could, one day, let us actually rewind the clock on aging itself. You know, it's a question people have been asking forever, but what's so different now is that science is starting to treat this less like a fantasy and more like a genuine engineering problem that we can solve. And the goal? Well, it's to achieve something absolutely revolutionary. Okay, so let's get this term down. Longevity escape velocity, or LEV. Think of it like this. It's the tipping point where, for every single year you stay alive, science and medicine are able to add more than a year back to your life. It's literally the moment we start to outrun aging. But, and this is key, it's not about just being old forever. And that brings us to maybe the most important distinction in this entire field. It's not just about lifespan. That's just the total number of years you're alive. The real goal is extending your health span, the years you live in good health, feeling good, without chronic disease. We want to add more life to our years, not just more years to our life. So, how do we do it? Well, we're going to build a kind of pyramid of what works, and we've got to start with the base, the foundation. This is the most important part, the proven, powerful steps you can actually take right now. And you don't need $1 billion lab to see a huge impact. A landmark study from Harvard found that by adopting just 5 healthy habits, you could add, on average, 12 years to a man's life, an incredible 14 years to a woman's. And what are these magic habits? Well, you've probably heard them before. A healthy diet, getting regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy body weight, being sensible with alcohol, and not smoking. No big surprises, right? But their combined power is just staggering. This is your non-negotiable starting line for a longer, healthier life. Now, of all those habits, the power of exercise it's just hard to overstate. This isn't just about looking good. This is a profound survival advantage. Just look at the data. If you have elite levels of cardiorespiratory fitness, your risk of dying from any cause is a staggering 75 to 80% lower than someone with low fitness. You could argue it's the most powerful longevity drug we have right now. And of course, we can't forget our body's ultimate recovery tool, sleep. That's when all the magic happens. Your brain and body go into maintenance mode, cleaning out waste, repairing cells. The evidence is so clear on this one, the sweet spot is right around 7 to 8 hours a night. That's what's linked with the absolute lowest risk of mortality. Okay, let's talk about diet. When you sift through all the noise and look at the hard evidence, a clear pattern emerges. It looks a lot like a Mediterranean-style diet. What does that mean? It's mostly plants, lots of healthy fats like olive oil, some fish and poultry, and very little red or processed meat. Sticking to a plan like this is linked to a 10 to 25% lower risk of dying from all causes. Okay, so we've poured that solid foundation. Now let's climb the pyramid to the next level, what I'm calling the emerging longevity pharmacy. These are the things that are moving out of the lab and are on the horizon. And this brings us to a whole new class of drugs called geroprotectors. Now, instead of treating one disease at a time, like a pill for heart disease, a pill for diabetes, these drugs aim to hit the root cause. They target the biological process of aging itself. So 3 of the frontrunners right now are really interesting. First, there's metformin, a super common diabetes drug. A huge trial called TAME is underway right now to see if it can slow down aging in people without diabetes. Then there's rapamycin, which has shown these amazing life-extending effects in animals by kicking our cellular cleanup process into high gear. And finally, senolytics, which is a totally fascinating new approach that clears out specific problem cells. So what are these things senolytics are targeting? They go after what scientists have nicknamed zombie cells. Seriously, these are old, dysfunctional cells that have stopped dividing, but they refuse to die. They just hang around, spewing out all these inflammatory chemicals that damage healthy cells nearby and speed up aging. Getting rid of them has had incredible effects in animal studies. All right, let's climb to the very peak of our pyramid, the frontier. This is where things get really futuristic, where we start talking about not just slowing aging, but maybe reversing it. Which, of course, leads to the most mind-blowing question in this whole space. What if we could find a biological reset button? What if we could actually take an old cell and trick it into thinking it was young again? Well, that's the core idea behind something called partial epigenetic reprogramming. See, your actual DNA code doesn't change as you get old, but the software that reads that DNA, the epigenome, it gets messy and corrupted over time. This technology uses special proteins to basically wipe that slate clean, resetting a cell's biological clock to a much younger state. And the speed of progress here is just breathtaking. Think about it. In 2009, discovering rapamycin extended mouse lifespan was huge news. By 2015, we had the first success with senolytics in mice. Then in 2020, a huge breakthrough. Scientists used this reprogramming tech to restore vision in old mice. The pace suggests that therapies that could get us close to that longevity escape velocity could start showing up after 2035. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've gone from your dinner plate to rebooting biology. So what can you do with all this? Let's build your personal longevity playbook. It really boils down to a simple 3-step strategy. Step 1, and this is the most important, master the foundation. Diet, exercise, sleep. That is your power today. Step 2, stay informed. Keep an eye on that next wave of drugs, metformin, rapamycin, as we wait for the human trial data to come in. And step 3, watch the frontier. Just understand where this incredible science is headed so you're ready when the breakthroughs arrive. And that leads us to one final pretty wild thought. A lot of top scientists in this field genuinely believe that with the pace of discovery, the first person who will live a healthy life to 150 years old has probably already been born. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's a real future we need to think about. So the real question is, what will you do to be ready for it?